The moment a black girl shows up, the rich brats act like they've spotted an alien invasion. They posted up in the hallway like it was their family estate, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Check her braids," the ringleader sneered. "Looks like rope straight from Home Depot." His buddy in head-to-toe Gucci chuckled. "Bet she oils it with chicken grease." The last one? Silent but smug, like her very existence was beneath his tax bracket. But what they didn't know, Sierra Carter wasn't some weak target. This new girl was a karate black belt raised on discipline by a Navy SEAL father. They thought they were making a joke, but really, they were writing their own downfall. Everyone heard their laughter. Soon everyone would hear their screams. Before we go any further, comment where in the world you are watching from, and make sure to subscribe because tomorrow's story is one you don't want to miss. Oak Ridge Heights wasn't some town, it was a showroom. Lawns shaved to perfection, windows shining like trophies, and people walking around as if their bank accounts made them royalty. That's where Sierra's dad, Dante, parked his black SUV in front of Ridgeview Middle School. A building so polished it looked more like a country club than a place for kids. Inside the car, Sierra sat quiet, braids neat against her shoulders, backpack clutched like armor. Dante wasn't the type to fuss. His calm filled the car the way it had filled battlefields. "Remember the rule," he said, voice low but steady. "Control your mind, control your actions," Sierra replied automatically. 8 years of karate had drilled that into her more than math or English ever could. "That's right," he said, eyes sharp with the kind of wisdom you don't buy, you earn it in war. "These kids don't know discipline. You do. Observe first, react second." Sierra straightened her simple blue sweater, smoothing out invisible wrinkles, steadying herself. "I know, Dad. Just like the dojo." He squeezed her shoulder, locking eyes. "You're my warrior princess. Not because you can drop a roundhouse kick, but because you know when not to." And with that, she pushed the door open. The crisp air smelled like cut grass and privilege. Kids streamed past, staring at her like she was a warning sign. She squared her shoulders, breathing steady, and stepped into enemy territory. The hallway buzzed with the usual chaos. Lockers slamming, kids laughing too loud. But then it shifted. Conversations dipped, eyes turned, whispers spread. Girls in clusters stopped mid-sentence and scattered the moment she reached her locker. Sierra didn't flinch. Her father's words rang in her mind. Control is armor. By lunchtime, Sierra had already learned the game. This school wasn't about education, it was about hierarchy. And the rich kids loved reminding her where she supposedly belonged. She sat alone at a long cafeteria table, her lunch neat and carefully packed. Grilled chicken, rice, vegetables. Nothing fancy, nothing greasy. But the girls nearby didn't waste a second. "Oh my God, what is that smell?" One gagged dramatically, pinching her nose like Sierra's food was toxic waste. Another whispered loud enough for the whole row to hear, "Maybe it's not the food. My mom says they use weird oils in their hair." Cue the fake coughing and giggles. Now, let me ask you, do you see how they always need an audience for their cruelty? Because without backup, bullies are just cowards in designer shoes. Sierra didn't flinch. She closed her lunchbox smoothly, stood up with calm precision, and said, "Thank you for the invitation." No tears. No snapping back. Just pure dignity. And when she walked away from their table and sat alone again, their laughter actually faltered. Why? Because they couldn't break her, but humiliation wasn't enough for them. Oh no, rich brats always need escalation. The next morning, Sierra walked into school to find a thick rope dangling from her locker, twisted into a noose. Below it, a note scribbled in black marker. "Know your place." The hallway froze. Conversations stopped. Eyes widened. And there they were. Troy, Chase, Ryder, leaning against the water fountain, smirks plastered across their entitled faces. Everyone knew who did it, but no one said a word. Now tell me, what kind of school let something like that slide? Sierra didn't cry, didn't scream. She calmly pulled out her phone and snapped photos from every angle. Evidence. Because her father taught her, silence is weakness, but proof is power. And when the principal rushed over, pretending to be horrified, Sierra noticed the way his eyes darted away, like he already planned to bury it. And oh, he tried. He called it a prank. A prank. Imagine looking at a noose and calling it a joke. But Sierra wasn't playing their game anymore. She called her father. Within 20 minutes, Dante Carter walked into that office, calm as steel, eyes scanning like a soldier entering hostile ground. And that's when this little private war truly began. By the next day, the bullies weren't even pretending to hide. Troy leaned against his locker like it was his family's throne, smirk locked in place. "Hey, rope girl," he called out, his voice loud enough to slice through the hallway noise. Chase jumped in, tugging an invisible rope around his neck and fake choking until a few students gasped. Ryder didn't need to say anything. The smug look on his face screamed, "We own this place." And here's the kicker. Teachers strolled past like they were blind. Since when did racism become just another hallway decoration? Sierra didn't flinch. Her grip tightened on her backpack, but her expression never cracked. Because while they laughed, her tiny mic was recording every word, every taunt, every detail. Her father drilled it into her. Anger disappears, but evidence? That sticks. In math, Ryder sat right behind her, making quiet choking sounds each time she raised her hand. Sierra answered every problem perfectly, her voice smooth, her pencil steady. The teacher glanced back once, frowned, then kept on teaching. She might as well have stamped approved on their harassment. Sierra logged it in her notebook later. Time, names, witnesses. Nothing missed. After school, they followed her again, just close enough to taunt, just far enough to deny. Ryder eyed her braids and sneered, "Need help tying those ropes to your shoes?" Their laughter echoed down the corridor, bouncing off the lockers. Sierra closed hers softly, making sure her phone's hidden camera caught their smirking faces in the metal reflection. Calm, precise, deadly quiet, but humiliation in public wasn't enough for them anymore. No, they wanted her cornered. And that chance came in the locker room. Sierra heard them before she saw them, footsteps too heavy, too many, trying to creep but failing. She turned, and there they were, Troy bouncing a basketball against the lockers, Chase blocking the exit like a guard dog, Ryder cracking his knuckles. "This is the girls' locker room," Sierra said flatly, her voice calm even while her pulse thudded in her ears. Troy grinned, eyes gleaming with cruelty. "Oh, we know. Thought you could use a little extra credit." Chase smirked wider, shifting to block her path. Ryder stepped forward, fists clenched, ready to prove how untouchable he thought he was. But really, what happens when three pampered boys try to corner a girl trained since childhood to dismantle men twice their size? The basketball flew first. Troy whipped it at Sierra's head like this was some sick game. She ducked without effort, the ball smashing into the metal lockers with a deafening clang. Chase lunged, grabbing her wrist with that stupid grin. "Got you now, rope girl," he taunted. Big mistake. Sierra twisted her arm, fluid and sharp, the way years of karate taught her. Chase's smirk vanished as she locked his wrist, flipped her hips, and sent him crashing to the floor, air knocked clean out of him. The sound of his gasp echoed louder than the basketball ever could. Ryder froze mid-step, fists still raised, because suddenly the so-called victim wasn't cornered. She was in control. And tell me, when the weakest target fights back like a warrior, doesn't it make the bullies look like clowns? "Enough!" Mrs. Peterson's voice cut through the chaos as she stormed in, eyes wide at Chase on the ground. The boys scrambled for their story instantly. "She attacked us, we just came for our ball." Sierra stood tall, shoulders straight, voice calm. "They cornered me, they threw it first, Chase grabbed me." But of course the system didn't care. Peterson scolded the boys for being in the locker room, then turned and pinned the blame on Sierra. 3 days suspension, 0 tolerance for fighting. So let me get this straight. 3 boys invade the girl's locker room, throw a weapon, grab her, and the one punished is the black girl who defended herself? Welcome to Ridgeview. But here's the part that broke their little empire. Sierra wasn't just fighting fists. She was collecting receipts. The mic had recorded everything. The hidden camera had their faces, their taunts, their threats. And her father. He wasn't about to let a corrupt school sweep it under the rug. Dante Carter went from Navy SEAL to legal assassin overnight, digging emails, exposing cover-ups, pulling allies into the fight. Reporters, attorneys, even other families started stepping forward. The bullies who thought they were untouchable, suddenly they were headlines. Their names dragged into the light, their parents' power cracking like cheap glass. And Sierra, the girl they tried to humiliate, became the one name they couldn't silence. Because sometimes justice doesn't come with fists. Sometimes it comes with proof, patience, and the guts to never bow your head. And Sierra Carter proved it better than anyone. So, if you stood with her through this story, don't just click away. Like, share, and subscribe. Because voices like hers matter, and the more people hear them, the less power bullies like Troy, Chase, and Ryder will ever have again.